Hey everybody, it is early morning, gloomy Dave. So I actually just wanted to quickly hop on. You're going to be seeing a whole transition video from me up into a video that I made it during the nighttime. This is when the tariffs were announced. Obviously, if you keep up with the news, you'll notice that those tariffs were called off. I still decided to upload the video anyway. And the reason why, and of course there'll be a timestamp right in the corner. The reason why that I decided to go ahead and still post it is because if it was threatened, there's a 1 month pause. Even if it's never used, it's still good to keep people educated on what could happen if such a things were to take place. So go ahead and enjoy the video and have a wonderful day. Hey everybody, it is nighttime Dave. Just a quick little update. So it looks like that the tariffs have officially gone through. So now we're looking at, I believe it is 25% Canada, 25% Mexico, specific goods. Obviously, we're the ones paying that. Shout out to each and every one of you that wanted that to happen. Great job. So now that we're at this situation, let's look at it at a stock level. The market went down 1%. It was attempting to rally again, but we saw that it plummeted a little bit. I think the S&P is probably about half that. What I'm super curious about is to see not only what happens with threefold. First will end up being the natural sell-off. You'll have a lot of AI algorithms that are being ran by a lot of these organizations, hedge funds, people that really own the actual stock market and that run it for real. You'll actually have these people probably largely selling off, maybe doing option calls, whether it's puts or calls or anything else like that. And what I'm super curious about is to see how the market drags down. Obviously, when the market moves down, if you have stocks that are already getting pretty beaten down, whether they have a heavy debt load, whether their cash flow is kind of dwindling quarter after quarter. But anyways, the point is though is that I'm really curious to see on how they react, and if anything gets sold off, I'd love to step right in and buy that at a really fair price. Another thing that I'm thinking about just off the top of my head is the immediate jobs and projects that are going to be lost. My question is, when we start, man, I think it's like a 2-3 month lagging indicator in terms of when we'll actually start seeing a lot of the job data come in with some of those unemployment, data. I'm sure there are many companies that were heavily debating already, or if not, this is another step towards them, no longer existing. So that has me a little bit curious too, because that can drag down the market. You might see the Fed being stuck. I know that Trump will definitely replace the current Fed chairman when the opportunity arises. I think he has like a year-ish left, even though he was appointed by Trump. He has another guy who's more easy money, definitely Wall Street jumping up and down for that opportunity. Anyways, needless to say though, is that I'm very interested to see does that overall data hurt us? And more specifically, what does it do to the stock market to give us buying opportunities and chances to continue to advance down that lane? So I'd honestly probably just keep an eye on that. The third thing that I'm more curious about is customer spending. As we know, if you are an American, there's one thing that we know. We drive cars, we don't like public transportation, and we use our credit cards everywhere we go. So anyways, with that being said though, is what I'm super curious about, as on top of everything else, is to ultimately see what happens in terms of credit card use. Do we see people trying to still live the same lifestyle, then turn around and have to pay, using their actual credit card, meaning we can see a increase. Obviously, not all goods are going to be quite subject to the tariff. Maybe things will change. Maybe they'll get dropped. Who actually knows? But I do think that the important note is to take these pieces into major consideration. So I'm honestly just really curious to end up seeing if customer spending just falls. At least for me, maybe every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks, I used to go to the Vons, because I like to pay attention to the deals, and I like to get things when they're on sale and stock up to the limit, and have people come with me so they can stock up on the limit too. And now it's starting to get to the point that I'm going to be looking at the overall difference within sales and pricing compared to the last. Maybe that's not fair, but
I want to see what the percentages of changes are. Obviously, the tariff is going to be that percentage. Then obviously all of the domestic manufacturers are going to then raise up those prices, meaning, especially during their earning call, if you hear any of them say, it's like Tyson Chicken. I know they're not doing very well, but let's just say, like, Tyson Chicken, if it's all, all USA, I would be naturally really curious to see if they, if their stock rises from earning more money that's being spent on said goods, because that domestic industries are just going to turn around and raise the price, and they're going to keep it there, and the average American will have less and less in their shopping cart per $20. There's that really famous photo showing you between the 90s and now what you could buy for said price. So I want to see what all three dynamics look like. I know that we just started at this point, but there is always a smart idea to keep a general eye out and see how these pieces change. So obviously I hope each and every one of you remain safe and remain careful and remain diligent. We are in some of the most craziest times in American history, as we can kind of just buckle in and kind of get ready for that. So thank you all for tuning in, and please be safe. See y'all.